Good evening, CLC. I'm Naomi Feta. Thank you so much for joining me here this evening. So, as you know, we have been talking about the promises of God. I'm just going to continue on with that. Know that they're just so meaningful to know and understand what it is that God has promised us and what He wants to do in our lives, and also knowing his promises, we can cling to them, we can wrestle with them, we can bring them to him in prayer and with faith as well. So, this is in Philippians chapter 2. And let's see, I'm going to start in verse 13. It says, "For God is working in you, giving you the desire and power to do what pleases him. Do everything without complaining and arguing so that no one can criticize you. Live clean, innocent lives as children of God, shining like bright lights in a world full of crooked and perverse people. Hold firmly to the word of life, then on the day of Christ's return, I will be proud that I did not run the race in vain and that my work was not useless." So, first off, God is working in us to give us the desire to do what pleases him. I find that is reassuring, meaning how often do we think it's easy to fall into the feeling of, well, I'm not good enough, or I'm not doing this walk of faith right. Now, definitely there's things that we can do, which I'm going to get to that in a second, to continue to cultivate that life of Christ within us. But it says God is working in us, giving us the desire and power to do what pleases him. And so even turning that into, thank you, God. I believe that you're working in me, that you're giving me the desire to do what pleases you. And if you're struggling to have the desire to do what pleases him, even praying about that a little bit, Lord, help me. I'm struggling with this. But you promise that you're going to work in me to give me that desire. And so, Lord, bring it to fulfillment, those type of things. And that's really just a coming back to him over and over with the promises and waiting for him to fulfill them, to show them real in our lives. Now, the next little part I remember learning as a kid in a kind of a fun little ditty song about doing everything without complaining and arguing, like eating your broccoli and stuff like that. I can't remember all the words to the song, but it was something about like eat your food without complaining too was added in there. So, of course, now that we're grown ups, at least I think that most of us that are listening, and maybe it's not the broccoli that we complain about, but I notice as I am out and about or with clients how often our words and our thoughts can become negative. I wish complaining about getting up in the morning, complaining about having to cook dinner for a family again, complaining about the laundry to do, complaining about somebody that we work with. And this complaining attitude can really get into us and become very negative. But God says, do everything without complaining and arguing so nobody can criticize you. And it goes on to say, so when we don't complain, it's an aspect of shining like a bright light in the world. And praying that also as promise number one, yes, we do have a responsibility to say, Lord, I am struggling with this complaining. Help me to be thankful. And even to turn our complaint into a thanksgiving. Maybe if it is the laundry, saying thank you for the people that you've put in my life that I have to do laundry for, thanking him for those privileges. If it's a baby keeping us up at night, being thankful for rather than complaining about the lack of sleep, being thankful to have that blessing in our life, and keeping check on really the words that we're speaking and what's coming out of our mouth, because you know what? We are blessed, and often the things that we have that we want to complain about today might be something that we prayed for years ago. But that reminder that if we do this, if we come to Him and we, work with God on our complaining and our arguing, He's going to make us to shine as bright lights in the world. And isn't that something that is our heart's desire, like to live for Him and make Him known by our actions, by our words, by not complaining. He's transforming us and making us to be a bright light in the world that reflects His glory. So, as you go about the rest of your week, I pray that you just think about the words that you speak, that they be words of thanksgiving and of joy and the blessings that God has given you. God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you in church on Sunday. Be sure to check us out in person at 20 West Main Street in Catskill, meeting at 10:30 on Sunday mornings. We'd love to see you there.